Now on Denver 7 News at 5 a.m., all eyes on your money as the Fed prepares to raise interest rates again. The impact on wages, housing, your job, and your spending.
Allegations of discrimination within Denver police. What one sergeant says happened to her and how she's hoping to change the department for women and people of color.
Crime across Denver is becoming a pervasive problem with no clear-cut solution. How the Mile High City plans to use urban design to make you feel safer.
And the Avalanche score 8 more years with one of their star players right there. The record-breaking contract to lock in Nate McKinnon. Certainly one of the more exciting players to watch as they open training camp tomorrow. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. I'm Brian Sanders.
I'm Nicole Brady. It's going to feel a little more like hockey weather as it cools down a little bit today, Lisa.
And some areas of heavy rain on the way too. We're going to see upwards of around 2 to 4 inches in some pockets in the mountains. So unfortunately, flood concerns an issue here this next couple of days. We have some wet weather right now up across parts of northeastern Colorado, but for the most part here in town, you're going to find just an increase in cloud cover this morning. Extremely mild conditions. We're in the low to mid 60s right now, and we're going to stay there through the afternoon. In fact, not much of a warm up. We'll see some mid to upper 60s in a few neighborhoods, and then those temperatures are again going to drop back down into the 50s tonight as we get a better chance for some rain. So low 60s today here in town. In the mountains, you're going to find actually some warmer pockets out west, and you'll see here within the next few hours how things will change. More rain for the high country spreading east over the plains, so expect to see wet roads for the commute tonight. And it looks like, Jason, here in town, up to an inch of rain. We'll talk more about some of those rainfall totals coming up.
And if any of those flash flood watches turn into a warning in Glenwood Canyon, we could see Glenwood Canyon shut down a little bit east of Glenwood Springs. So we'll keep an eye on that. You see some of the flashing lights, has some of the overnight construction that was still lingering around I-70 and I-25, and they're picking up the cones right now. You can see as you take a look out to the east side of town, still a little bit of lingering delay on that eastbound side trying to get through 225. And we also still had some paving work over the west side of town, but really no big delays for us right now. Even though it's registering 21 minutes, not going to be that long. It's only going to be an extra maybe 5 minutes at best. Trying to get on over to Pena Boulevard, which is wide open for us. South side of town looks good. In or out of Castle Rock looks good. Same thing over here in the Denver Tech Center or out in Aurora right now.
Well, in just hours, the Federal Reserve will announce yet another interest rate hike. It will be the 5th one since March and maybe the largest one yet.
That's right. Analysts expect an increase of as much as a full percentage point this time because last week's inflation report showed prices are still going up on just about everything, and some worry stocks could nosedive today because of it. But don't miss this context, because while experts agree more should be done to help control spending right now, it is tough to know when rate hikes have gone too far.
As they say, monetary policy works with a long lag, so it'll take a little bit of time, but it will show up. The economy will slow.
Well, despite grocery and fuel prices staying high, the rate hikes have cooled the housing market. So how do we really know what's actually working and when? We are exploring another perspective this morning with a local economist about the telling signs.
Denver 7's Veronica Acosta joins us live with the role he says our wages are playing in all of this.
So the economists I spoke with said people across the country, they want to get paid more for their jobs they're doing. We know that, right? But that can add to our problem of inflation. He said that although he worries for those companies that just cannot afford to pay their employees more money, he also worries about what some wage bumps can do to our current price of goods long term. He used railroad workers and their most recent increase in wages as an example.
That kind of a raise of 24% will obviously make them able to spend more, because higher wages will obviously allow them to spend more, and then the prices will go up.
So I asked Kulkarni the big question: does he think that this expected interest rate hike is going to help with our inflation? Listen to what he said.
The main reason why it will not go down significantly is because in November and December, as you know, we all consumers go wild and crazy. We buy the presents, we spend a lot of money in shopping, and which obviously all that expenditure raises the price.
And I mentioned the current price of goods on things like eggs, maybe even milk. I asked Kulkarni what he thinks about those prices, whether we can expect them to go down at any point. And he said that he thinks stopping inflation really just means not having those prices go up any further. We're live in Denver this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
All right, prepare for an expensive holiday season, it sounds like. Thank you, Veronica.
Well, as we dig deeper this morning, another rate hike will likely cost us more, especially if we're trying to buy a new home or if you're looking to sell. It means fewer buyers would be in the market. Colorado just landed on a list as the 5th most expensive state for home buying. Mortgage rates are hovering around 6%, and today's Fed announcement will push those rates to their highest level since 2008. That will likely change your buying power. Realtors say buyers who could have afforded a $700,000 home in June might now be looking in the $600,000 range.
But a home is someplace you want to live, and you want to live there and enjoy it now. So we say, marry the home, right? Buy the home that you want, understanding that at some point, whether it's in months or years, you have the ability to refinance in so much as date the rate, meaning you can readjust it.
And financial planners are also warning millennials and Gen Zers to hang in there, as surveys show nearly 1 in 5 of them have closed an investing, trading, or brokerage account over the past year because of inflation. They say they're selling these assets because they fear they'll lose money with the stock market being so volatile as it is, as we can see pre-trading down a little bit this morning. Without a sufficient emergency fund, some young investors may be selling off assets to cover their higher cost of living.
One of the first places the rate hike will be felt is in our credit cards. Denver 7 consumer reporter John Matarese shows us how to keep our credit card debt from getting out of control.
Alicia Turner says buying food for her family,
make sure they're in the bag,
is getting more and more expensive every week.
It's very hard to be able to purchase what you're trying to purchase.
With grocery inflation well over 10%, she's putting more charges onto.
Yeah. Credit card.
Inflation and the end of stimulus checks mean many consumers are putting more purchases onto their credit cards right now. But it's at the same time rates are shooting up, with the average credit card interest rate now over 18%, according to Bankrate.com.
As card rates approach 20%, financial experts say it's easy to fall into what's called the credit card trap. That's where you don't have enough money in your bank account to pay even half your balance each month. And that balance gets bigger and bigger all the time.
What could have took you maybe 5 years to pay something off may take you 8 or 9 or 10.
Suzanne Powell is a financial advisor and author. She says at 18% interest and carrying a balance on your card, a vacation or big screen TV can cost you a lot more than you ever dreamed.
Over time, they really don't realize that they pretty much pay double.
She suggests if you're falling into the credit card trap, try to pay down your balance, starting with the highest rate credit card. Look for a 0% balance transfer card if you qualify, and pay with cash or debit card, not a credit card when possible. Alicia Turner's trying not to rack up big credit card bills, but inflation's making it difficult.
It gets tighter. You have to work twice as hard for your income.
Credit card rates are expected to rise even further in the coming weeks, so be careful how often you say charge it so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese.
The Avs are looking to build a hockey dynasty here. The team just locked in another big key piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, got to defend the Stanley Cup now. Star center Nate McKinnon has signed an 8-year extension for more than $100 million. Wow. He is now the highest paid player in the NHL, but this is encouraging, especially to fans, because he says the money wasn't important as the length of the contract.
I always admire players who are with one franchise. I think that's pretty special, and I'd like to remain that as well my whole career. So yeah, that's kind of where my headspace was at. The last few years have been good, and yeah, getting some security, obviously I know I'm going to be here for 8 or 9 more years, so which is great. Yeah, everything about it, I feel really good about it.
All right, we'll take that. McKinnon signed the contract at the Ridge Golf Club in Castle Pines after playing in the Avs charity golf tournament. The team opens training camp tomorrow at the Family Sports Center in Centennial. Well, we do have some breaking news from overnight right now. The principal for Adams City High School canceled all classes today because police are investigating threats that have been circulating on social media. All extracurricular activities are also canceled today. The principal says classes will resume tomorrow, though. We hope to learn more as the morning goes on. Right now, let's get a check of your forecast from Lisa.
It is just about 5:10, and we're in the 60s right now, and that is where we will stay. Low to mid 60s here through the afternoon. Quite a bit of cloud cover. More rain, though, developing this afternoon. Expecting wet roads for tonight's commute, and it's going to get cool overnight tonight. We'll take a closer look at that, plus how much rain we're expecting coming up.
This is the camera right now up in Fort Morgan along I-76. Now, just a little bit east of here, just east of Sterling and up along I-76. Pretty good rain shower right now, making I-76 travel very difficult with a lot of water on the interstate. You can see it's a little bit damp here in Fort Morgan, but overall not too bad out to the at least that part of town.
Hey, most of us played soccer with a good old-fashioned ball, but some Colorado students are now using drones instead. We'll explain why.
Also, NASA is literally shooting for the stars, this time to defend our planet. The test, it's trying to prevent an asteroid from crashing into Earth.